Hello everybody, this is your favorite little squirrel, the Mad Salvi over here, bugging everybody that I possibly can because that's what squirrels do. We run around with our tails between our legs and just do all the stuff we can. There is something out right now. It has been removed from almost every single /VT place possible. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because people, want it to be gone, or if there are people who are trying to defend Nijisanji that want it to be gone. But luckily, there are places to find this. It's the Grand Unified Rat. For anybody who knows what the rrats are, it's basically a theory, a maybe recommendation of what might be happening, that type of thing. It's basically all theory. They're all assumptions. This is all alleged. Anyone who tells you that this is 100% true because other rats have been true is lying to you. Do not believe anyone that says this is 100% true. There are sprinkles of truth here and there, but I do think that this is good to mention because some of these things kind of ring a little bit true, and it shows how crazy some people in VT can be. Let's go in here and take a good look. So, it starts out with this. Nijisanji EN launches in May 2021 with their first wave Lazulite. At this time, it's a small branch without dedicated staff. However, we know that at this time, members of the recently disbanded Nijisanji India branch, specifically ex-Liver Noir, were being used as EN management. So they, according to this rat, the EN members were being used, the former Indian members were being used as EN management because they could speak English. However, quickly the EN branch outgrew its small staff. Obsidia, Etheria, Luxium, Noctix debuted within less than a year. JP management couldn't speak English, and there weren't enough English-speaking staff to manage all the new talents as the popularity of the branch exploded. To make matters worse, in early 2022, half of the EN managers and staff left to found, and subsequently bankrupt a failed NFT company. They said a source there. Some of the ex-EN talents were promised further upward, allegedly. Talents were at this point effectively self-governing, avoiding involving the ineffective upper management whenever possible. So basically, they knew that people were so bad that they would not even get anything if they even tried to actually, ask them for anything. By the time Elira debuted in July 2022, official management had become almost vestigial, as in vestigial is basically saying something that doesn't really matter, that's something that doesn't really do anything, it has no purpose, but it's still there. With a single 2-week-old hire as the manager for the entire branch. So, source One Girl Story Sayu. So Sayu said this. Also throughout this time, bilingual talents were being used as translators and go-betweens for the English-speaking EN talents to communicate with the Japanese-speaking management. Source, Sayu's interview with False ID, February 5th. What they're talking about here is that she did an interview with False ID, a VTuber news channel, and she said, yes, a lot of the talents there were not able to communicate in Japanese, so other talents that were able to speak Japanese were actually used as go-betweens and interpreters and all that kind of stuff, translators. So that is bad because any good company worth their salt is going to have a dedicated translator for their team, at the very least one to do for every meeting. So we move on. As the number of English-speaking staff decreased, the number of livers exploded. These liaisons started to become more and more important to the operations of the branch, with EN talents having to go through them to communicate with JP upper management. Chief among these was Dai Senpai Elira Pandora, bilingual, who already had other friends Nepo hired to the company. So this part of the rat says that it was Elira Pandora who was a go-between, a person that they were using as a translator, because she had a lot of other people in there hired through nepotism. That's what nepo hire means, nepotism, as in friends of friends are the ones who get in and not people who are actually qualified. So that's what they're claiming here. As time goes on, to cut out the middleman of needing to constantly send things back and forth between the glacially slow JP managers via translation, more and more managerial duties are effectively delegated to these liaison talents themselves, with Elira then sub-delegating to other trusted talents, or her friends in this case. People that she nepo hired, according to what they're saying here. Eventually, there's effectively a shadow bureaucracy of manager talents headed by Elira in charge of ongoing projects, getting permissions, translating, commissioning, contractors, etc. The reason why this is being so hard and being so pushed by a lot of people is because that kind of explains why Elira Pandora was the one that was chosen to make the statement with Vox and such, that they may also be part of the crew that she was heading at the company. And she was chosen there because she was probably like, hey, I'll do it for you. People like me. People are okay with me. I'll do this for you. they've given her a bunch of other stuff to do, so she'll do this for them. As a result, a natural favoritism system is established, creating a toxic work environment where talents who are on the good terms with Elira and shadow management are able to get their projects fast-tracked, and those who aren't are able to be stonewalled and mired in bureaucracy unless they can speak Japanese to communicate directly with upper management. This also makes sense because there were a lot of projects that were not being done. A lot of people were saying that every single person had to pay out of their own pocket for a lot of the art that was being commissioned, for a lot of the projects that were being commissioned. We have artists themselves speaking out recently saying that they were being paid directly by the talents themselves, not by Nijisanji. So we know that some of this, like I said, it's sprinkled with a little bit of truth and everything, and it's very damning. If all of this comes out to be 100% true, holy crap, they're done. Like, EN is done for Nijisanji. You do not, no one would want to become a part of EN, Nijisanji EN, no matter how ambitious they seem to be, because you have to be in a clique. Who wants to be in a clique? Nobody. So where does Selen come in? The most recent issue. Selen was ambitious. She had near constant projects and always needed to follow up with management on some commission or idea or video. She was by all accounts at least a little bit difficult to work with and not suited to a Japanese workplace environment or tolerant of bureaucracy. Not her fault, but she is Western and it seems to be like a little bit of a culture gap there. Not saying it happened here, but you know, culture gaps do exist. She was the most successful female talent. She was Elira's lower sister, but seemingly they didn't personally get along. She didn't participate in the secret GC stream, like the streams that they were doing, the GenMate streams. She can't speak Japanese, and thus they had to rely on the shadow management liaisons as the go-between for her numerous highly evolved projects. So this is making Elira look really bad, which could be a reason why she lost 20k. She openly criticized management and went behind their backs to get things done. She was probably a pain in their collective asses, while also being more successful than them in her streaming career. So what this is saying is that there was a bit of jealousy, envy, and a bit of like, oh man, you're being a thorn in my side because you're very ambitious. You seem to have a lot of purpose in your life and you want to go further and you're doing way better than me. So I'm going to be a little bit jealous on that whole situation. That's what it seems like, at least. Throughout that time, Selen felt stifled by management and correctly recognized the obvious favoritism where others would quickly get approval for things she couldn't or be offered sponsorship she was cut out of, despite being the biggest female liver. She tried to work with them, but constantly was stonewalled with red tape and felt singled out for special harassment. Her projects were often axed or mired in bureaucracy and delayed for no clear reason. As a result, she started going out herself to get her own permissions, sponsors, commissions, which bothered the clique even more and caused them to turn down or sabotage her self-organized projects for not getting proper approval through them. Things came to a head in the Last Cup of Coffee music video, which was important to her and had been in the works for a long time, with her having to go directly chase the permissions down because management wouldn't do it. When she was given the runaround once again, it was the last straw and she went rogue. This culminates her in her multiple attempts, termination, and reincarnation as Dokibird. The reason why all of this is believable, or all of this has been lending itself to a lot of credence and things like that, it shows a lot of the weirdness that was going on. It explains a lot of the issues that were going on in management, why they're so inept, why it just seems to be nepotism. Some people get favorites, some people don't. Like, for example, Pomu didn't get some things that she wanted. Others seem to have been just pushed aside. It makes more sense. Now, we don't know 100%. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt. I'm here to explain it and show it all to you. Because the Grand Unified Rat, or the Gurrat as they're calling it, is something that Nijisanji doesn't want you to see. It's something that maybe I could get copyright struck for this because of the fact it may be seen as slander or whatever, but I'm taking this risk. I'm going to just show it to you because that is what it's, it's important. It's important as news. I feel it's news. I feel it's newsworthy. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Of course, I will put the link to it down below it so you can see it yourself. So you can see the links to all of this down here, the further evidence, because, things like Elira being overrepresented, Elira being pretty much the one who seemed to be getting everything that she wanted. She was getting official promotions a lot. She was getting a lot. It seemed like a lot of favoritism was going her way. And this Unified Rat kind of explains a lot of that favoritism that Elira Pandora was getting. I appreciate you. Like I said, take a look down below for my description and also, social media marks there. Also take a look and comment down below if you believe it, don't believe it, think I'm dumb, everything. Just let me know everything that you think. I appreciate you. This is the Matt Salvi. I will be having a video right in front of you here that you may be interested in about, what's going on. Appreciate you. See you guys next time. This is the Matt Salvi, your little favorite squirrel here, screaming out the rats. My cousins, my nephews, my family. Bye-bye.